Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. It's Friday, so it's my PowerPoint presentation day. And for those of you who are not at the Yoga Circle from 85 to 2019, this is the kind of stuff I would do to share the Dharma with people. So the Quadrated Order is the name of this one. And since spirituality by the numbers can be projected into nature by 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 12, and so forth, we're going to go with 4 today. So the first 4 that we're talking about are the 4 ashramas or stages of life. First there's brahmacharya, where you're a student. Then grahashta, where you're a householder. Then vanaprashta, you kind of retire and start preparing yourself for end of life issues. And then your sannyas, you give up everything and you're just preparing yourself for the end of life in the body, for the beginning of life without the body. And then there's the 4 castes, the brahmanas, who are the spiritual leaders of the society, the kshatriyas, the warrior administrators, kept the white collar organization going, the vaishyas, the mom and pop blue collar workers that kept the mercantile class and the restaurants and so forth going, and then the shudras, the untrained, unskilled, uneducated people who like bust the tables and cut your lawn and take care of the waste. We're not even mentioning the untouchables, which would be like the homeless people. We don't even want to acknowledge they exist. They're like subhuman. All right, then you have the 4 yogas. Raja Yoga, where you meditate in your heart and you connect to the One. Jnana Yoga, where you study the scriptures and you see what the giants in the field have to say when they comment on the beauty and the depth of the wisdom of their tradition. Then you have Karma Yoga, where you're taught that you can't avoid action, but you can dedicate the fruits of the action to Krishna. Sacrifice everything for me, even your suffering, offer it to Krishna, and you see how your life takes on a very different turn. And then ultimately, as Bhakti Yoga, you find the deity of the heart, the Ishta Devata, and as Hanuman hugging Ram would say, when I don't know who I am, I serve you. When I know who I am one with you. And then in your own way, you become like a gopi, dancing with Krishna, Krishna appearing to each gopi according to her heart's vision of the beloved. Or you have your come to Jesus moment, and you find out who your personal savior really is. Then you move on to the 4 abodes of Brahma, called Brahma Vihara. This is where the gods and the goddesses hang out, and they tell you, right? You want to be like us? Maitri, universal friendliness to all. Mudita, universal joy. Whoever's having a good experience, be happy for them. It expands your joy exponentially. And then compassion, karuna, not only just for human beings, but for all creation. And ultimately is upeksha, equanimity, right? Let evil be dealt with by the karmic repercussion that happens. You have equanimity. Let the sun go down, let the sun go up. Stay calm. Then you have the 4 aims of life. Accumulation, get what you need so you're not a parasite. And then enjoy pleasure. For every permitted pleasure that you have, but you don't take advantage of, you're held accountable. So human touch, very, very important. And then put your desires and your accumulation on the bridle of Dharma. Align yourself with the way, the cosmic law, so you don't err. You don't follow the path of the good, of the pleasant. You follow the path of the good. And then it leads you to moksha, symbolized by Shiva, the meditating yogi who helps liberate you from the thrall of the material plane with all the different things that he has around him to show you how he's incarnated in different ways through the animal kingdom, the vegetal kingdom, the celestial kingdom, and so forth. And then the 4 elements, earth, fire, air, water, their psychological states, and not only just the building blocks of creation. The 4 seasons, whether it's spring, summer, fall, or winter, they all represent a different emotional and mental space that you go through as nature outside you changes. And then you have the 4 directions in the Native American tradition. The east is yellow, with the eagle that flies high, sees far. The south is red, where you have the mouse who sees things up close, and you get intimate with things in the summertime. And the west is where the black bear lives, goes into hibernation, the end of fall, where you harvest everything and you get ready for going inside as the weather changes, and it leads you to the direction of the north, where the white buffalo lives, who's the giveaway, gives everything to the people. Beautiful idea of life as the circle, the sacred hoop. And then you have the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac: Taurus the bull, Leo the lion, Scorpio the eagle, and then Aquarius the angel. Power is concentrated in each one of these signs. Another 4 model. Then you have the 4 suits of the tarot. I love how you look at the playing deck, the modern playing deck. It evolved from the pentacles on the left become diamonds, cups become hearts, swords become spades, and the wands become the trefoil or the clubs. Beautiful idea. And then, of course, you have the 4 worlds of the Kabbalah, from the infinite unknown with no form whatsoever down to it becomes manifest in the earthly plane. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse: war, famine, death, conquest. Here they are, got to deal with that, another way of looking at things. The 4 animals of the feng shui world, of the Tao, the turtle, the dragon, the phoenix, and the tiger. And then ultimately, the 4 divine couples: the male and female king and queen, the male and female witch and wizard, the male and female warrior, and the male and female lover. And as if that wasn't enough, you have the Via Positiva. This is the Meister Eckhart's teaching of creation-oriented spirituality, the positive path of celebration, the negative path of going down, silence, and going into that which is suffering, filled with suffering, but it's the other side of life, yin and yang to the coin of life. But then you take the positive and negative, and what do you do with it? You create, you bring forth within yourself those images of what was good and what was not so good in your life, and you make something of beauty. And then ultimately, there's no peace without justice. So the Via Transformativa, you have to work in some way to make it good for everybody. So as much good happens to as many people as possible, and as little suffering happens to as few of us as possible. And then if you do all that, you end up with the Fab Four. My favorite group, the Beatles. The music is still relevant today, 60 years later. I hope this is something you all find your way to. But regardless, I hope this gives you a little hit. Find your own way of looking at the different 4 numbers in your life, or find any number. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.